Hey, I'm Cameron McKenzie at CameronMCNZ on Twitter, and I wanted to talk to you about YAML. And I wanted to talk to you about Jenkins with YAML, and specifically about the incubating feature of how to create Jenkins YAML pipelines. Well, let me tell you that it is possible to create a Jenkins pipeline with YAML, although it's not quite part of the latest build. It's really just an incubation filter. So if you go over to Manage Jenkins and click on Available and look for the YAML plugin, I've actually already got it installed. So I'm just going to look for it here. You notice that there's an incubating plugin called Pipeline as YAML. If you install that, you can actually write some YAML code for your Jenkins pipelines. Now, I did a little tutorial the other day, Jenkins Maven build pipelines, and this is the pipeline that I use. As you can see, it's just a declarative pipeline. I like scripted pipelines as well, but declarative pipelines are my favorite. And I wanted to convert this where, first we print out the version of different tools that we have, and then finally we actually do a Maven build. I wanted to convert that into a YAML file. So how would we do it? Well, first you have to have that pipeline as YAML incubating plugin installed. And as you can see, I've got it installed. So then you actually go and you create a new project. So I'll call it the Jenkins YAML pipeline. And it's just a pipeline project. There's no special YAML project. It's just a regular pipeline project. But if you click on pipeline, boom, right there, you notice that you get a couple of different options. And one of them is a pipeline as YAML. Now, as I mentioned before, I kind of said, hey, I got a pipeline. I want any agent to run this pipeline. I didn't specify Docker or anything like that. But I do in one of my other tutorials. And then it's got a first stage where it just logs stuff, a second stage where it actually does a build. This is a Jenkins file, so it's actually inside of a GitHub repository, as you can see. And so it doesn't have to do a git pull, but I think I'm going to have to do a git pull myself. And so this is the code that I'm going to put in there. So again, notice this is what the declarative pipeline looks like. This is what the YAML Jenkins file pipeline looks like. So again, scripted pipeline or declarative pipeline. YAML pipeline. You can see any agent will do it. We're breaking things down in stages. In this stage, we have multiple steps. We print out Maven, Java, Git, and Docker versions. Then we have another step where we build. You notice that here I actually have to pull from Git, so I use part of the Jenkins DSL that allows me to do a Git pull. And then also you see here, we actually do the Maven clean, compile, test, and install command. Looks like I've kind of mixed and matched my single quotes and double quotes, so I think I might have to discuss that at the annual code review, but this will still work. Then we've got a final stage there where I just echo out a command. It's all run on Ubuntu, so you can see I use the shell notation there. But that is the YAML file for doing a basic Jenkins Maven build. So I'm going to come over here. Geez, got to find the right window. I'll paste that in, and I want this pipeline to run on any node. First stage is to log it. Second stage is to pull and build it. And third stage is to pat myself on the back with a congratulations. I will click apply. I will click save. And I'm just going to build that pipeline, see what happens. I should get some feedback fairly quickly. I'm seeing blue here, which makes me feel good. When I ask for some of the versions, you can see we've got Docker 19, we've got Git 2.2.5, we've got OpenJDK 1.8, a little late there, probably should put in the Java LTS 11 release there, but good enough. And we've got Maven running, so that looks handsome there. Inside of my Jenkins YAML build, you can see that we've got Git pulling from my GitHub repository, so the Jenkins GitHub integration is working well here. And then finally, you actually see that Maven build happening, and you see the Rochambeau jar file actually being created there. So it gets thrown into that target folder there. The Rochambeau web application gets built and tested and compiled. And then finally, the Jenkins artifact gets packaged. There it is right there. And so all of this ends up working. I think I had one last stage, and that last stage was a cheap little pat myself on the back. Hey, the Jenkins YAML pipeline completed. And there you go. That's all there is to it. So I think that will soon be part of an upcoming Jenkins release. I think we'll see this standard, the Jenkins YAML. We know that GitLab uses YAML in their pipelines, and GitHub Actions uses YAML in their pipelines. As you can see, this is an incubating feature, but I'm pretty sure the ability to write a pipeline as YAML code is going to be a standard part of a future Jenkins release, near future. And there you go. That's how easy it is to create a Jenkins YAML pipeline. Now, if you enjoyed this tutorial, why don't you head over to theserverside.com. I'm the editor-in-chief over there. Got lots of great tutorials on Jenkins, DevOps, enterprise software development, you name it. If you're interested in my personal antics, you can follow me on Twitter at CameronMCNZ and subscribe on the YouTube.